You're more than welcome. I know it's long. I'm sorry.
No,
Right here on that wall where it say Wi-Fi, that white piece of paper.
that's good that it's long.
Is
That's a look long.
Yeah.
It's a little short to me.
You look straight to you. You so nice.
It looks short.
You really-
CBCI 56, 975, 74, 2.4. That is a long time.
I see.
Jesus Christ. Deep.
He had glasses like mommy.
CAUC.
Yeah.
CA.
Is that a point? Is that a point?
Here, do it.
Like, you closer to me, I can't see that. RD.
So all the letters are capital.
RD 9. C. Is that an A or a P?
That's an A.
A.
Mm-hmm.
LL or is that U?
That's a U.
Oh, U. C.
Mm-hmm.
C.
Mm-hmm.
9.
Mm-hmm.
A. 4.
Oh. A4.
C.
Mm-hmm.
Is that D?
D. Mm-hmm.
4.
Mm-hmm.
C.
Mm-hmm.
P. 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jesus.
And you can
Let me see
hear
it
it.
down
That
there.
password is long.
Sound wrong.
But
Was
the
incorrect.
Wi-Fi password is not long.
It's okay.
All right. What about it?
Those look like Jesus gift, mommy.
Just record it.
Those look like Jesus.
I'm gonna take this here.
Oh, I go back to my drawing.
Well, no, you can come click the button. I'm just gonna take your shit.
Yeah, this thing don't
Oh, you were
it'll stretch out.
I thought we needed one more light. Behind you.
The mic is on my other side.
Where is?
It's okay.
Where is the mouse? This is usually click the phone button. Which is everything up.
So you did already.
I usually click on the one light piece and I lift it up. So you can find it.
This ain't gonna work. Put it over there.
All right, we ready?
Uh-huh.
We ready?
So you asking the questions
So
or how
I'm
does it go?
asking the question. So what I'm gonna do,
Mhm.
I'm gonna introduce myself,
Okay.
introduce the show,
Okay.
and I'm gonna bring you all in.
Okay.
We're gonna go from there.
And
Sound
so
good to me?
we just following your lead.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. So this is live already. So hey everybody.
Oh,
We out there.
hey.
I'm out there. You ready, buddy? Go ahead.
Right now.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of DTI Takeover Show. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am your host, Miss Kayla, here on Total Praise Radio. I am so excited. You all are our second in-person Total Praise Radio guests. Most of mine have been virtually, so I'm excited to be in the studio every time
Yes.
for Total Praise Radio. This is exciting. As always, we are highlighting and we are spotlighting some of our businesses out here, our entrepreneurs out here, people who are making a name for themselves, people who are trying to set up generational wealth
Yes.
and things
Yes,
like that.
yes,
So this lovely couple here is no different. I have the owners and the founders of Eternal Covenant MM, correct?
Yes.
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 Mr. and Mrs. Harold and Kimberly Crittenden. Crittenden.
Crittenden. Yeah.
Close. I was close.
Close enough.
Hello.
Close enough.
How are you?
Doing well, and you?
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you
Yeah.
for being
Thanks
here.
for having us.
So, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Mr. Harold, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, well, again, we are the Crittendens,
Mhm.
better known as them Crittendens.
Okay.
That's our tagline.
Okay.
We have been married for 17 years. We've been together for 20 years. We have 7 wonderful children. And we knew exactly what God wanted us to do. But we knew it. But it was just more so, how do we get to it?
Gotcha.
How do we get to it? And just by trial and error and just continuing to grow, we came up with Eternal Covenant.
Okay.
And we just been going straight forward ever since. It's been great. It's been wonderful. I wouldn't change anything.
Really?
I wouldn't change nothing. Nothing at all. And if I had to do it again, I want to do it with her. I want to do it with her. Y'all hear me, world? I hope the whole world listening. I want to do it with her.
Yeah.
You better claim that.
Hey, absolutely.
I like that. Miss Kimberly.
Yeah,
Tell us
so
about you.
I am Kimberly Crittenden, the wife of this amazing man. As he said, we have a blended family. We have a blended family of 7. So and we highlight that because today more so than ever there are a lot of blended families, and we call ourselves the seamless blend because God has allowed us to be able to uniquely blend our family to a point where, unless you know us personally, most people don't even know that we're blended. And so we don't use the word step. The only time we use that word we say is when we're stepping into our future. But there's no stepmom, no stepdad. They're our children. And so we just been going strong. We started marriage coaching back in 2014, and we just recently this year became certified life, marriage, and relationship coaches.
Okay.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You gotta tell us, because I know a lot of people, the blended family dynamic isn't easy for a lot. How did you all make it work?
We made it work because we've always allowed our children to have a voice.
Okay.
We've always made it a point to have like family conversations, family discussions, family meetings. And the Bible says, in order you're getting good understanding, right? And so we've always brought understanding to our children in terms of, okay, this may not be the nuclear family in terms of mom and dad being together, but we're mom and dad. We're family. We're a unit. And so we always moved in that way. And so when there came a point of, well, am I supposed to do this? Or they said don't do that. We cut all of that out. And we were adult enough to communicate with the biological parents. And so eliminating and eradicating all of the riffraff, it made it so, because when kids see you work together and they know that they can't get in between you, everything else works. It's on the outside. So that's pretty much what we did. And it, after a while, it didn't even have to be a conversation anymore. It just was what it was. Yeah.
You agree?
I agree, but I like in the middle. I mean, not in the middle, but in the beginning, it was a little fight. It was a little fight, with the other parent.
Gotcha.
It was a little bit of tussle here and there, but we stuck together.
Right.
And I felt like as long as we stick together and they see this, they gotta conform.
Absolutely.
And they conform, and now we the seamless blend. We the seamless blend.
I like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So we got to get into Eternal Covenant. How did that begin?
Well, let's go back to, what was it, 2010?
14.
Was it 14? Okay, 14. Actually, our pastor, or our old pastor, I'll say that, over at Shield of Faith, Bishop James A. Jennings.
Okay.
Shout out to him. Great man of God. Great man of God. But what happened was there were a couple that was over the marriage ministry, and I guess it really wasn't going, to really well, I guess. But anyway, he allowed us to take over the marriage ministry, and that's where it started from. That's where it started from, and then God told us it was time to leave. And when we left, Eternal Covenant was born.
How was that transition?
It was tough, but very much necessary, and it allowed us to find out some different things about ourselves and areas that we needed to grow in, and then through that, God grew us, and then He grew Eternal Covenant. And during COVID, what actually happened was we counseled or coached more people during COVID than we ever had.
Mm.
Because COVID highlighted everything that we were able to hide or run away from with
Man,
work
what?
and extracurricular
You had to face
things.
that person
You
that
had
you
to.
with
You
every
had
day.
to. Yeah. So COVID really taught people in relationships what the glue was really made of.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so through that, and whenever we sit across from someone and they're coming to us for help, it always helps us as well, because it teaches us things and it highlights things for us that we need to work on or, pay attention to, so that we don't go that same way, right? Because we're not above anything or anyone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so the transition was difficult at first. But it was necessary, and it's amazing, and it's brought us to a place where it's beautiful, and we've blossomed and we've grown, and we're always looking to grow, to continue to enhance us first, and to be able to give things to other people to enhance their marriages as well.
Got you. So what are some of the things the services that Eternal Covenant offers?
Premarital coaching.
Okay.
So if you are even single, you're single and thinking about, I think I want to get married one day. What does that look like? Premarital, okay, we're at the place of engagement. What's the next steps? And then we offer services, married, now what? So you in it, now what do we do? We're in the thick of it, so we kind of have something for every person, no matter where they are, so that they can have an understanding, because we just firmly believe that you should never go into marriage without your tool bag. So we're the tool bag.
Oh, you give us some of them tools. What should be in our tool bag?
Oh man, first and foremost, God.
Yes.
Having a foundation with God, being able to be self-aware, knowing your shortcomings, your downfalls, allowing grace for your partner to grow, to make mistakes, to cover them no matter what, and to being able to communicate. It's one thing to communicate, but also being able to comprehend, right? Because communication can be done in all types of ways. Yelling, screaming, all of those are forms of communication. But if there's no understanding, then nothing has been said. So it's an art to that, so we teach couples the art of communication and comprehension. And, from that, everything, goes from there. What would you say?
I agree 100%. I don't want to add nothing to it because, to be honest with you, she said a mouthful. She really did. We do offer so many other things, but that's just the start of it. That's just the beginning of it. We really try to foolproof marriages. We don't believe in divorce, and we can help you understand that no, divorce is not an option. Period. Divorce is not an option. You work through that thing.
Yeah.
That's what it's really all about. People don't really want to do the work. They want to just give up and leave, bye, see you later. No, we got to stick and stay. We got to work. Marriage is a job, and it takes work, hard work. It's not easy, but you can get through it. You can get through anything.
Yes, sir.
You just got to be willing to go through it.
Yeah.
I got you. So what would you say is a common issue that you have seen amongst your married couples?
Pride, lack of understing of what marriage is. Yep.
Communication is the biggest.
And I think what we've learned, too, a lot of times, one or two things happen. Either people go into marriage without some type of coaching, counseling to really break down the marriage vows, or they may have gone through marriage counseling, but I can speak for ourselves. We've been married for quite a long time. So a lot of times, based on where you are spiritually, your counseling sessions go a little bit different. And so depending on where that counseling is coming from, a lot of times, as with our parents, our big mamas and all of that, they have a different understanding or appreciation for marriage or submission, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to understand what those things really mean. An example, for richer or for poor, most people associate that with money, but it's more than that. What about when I'm poor in my thinking?
Yes.
What about when I'm low in my confidence? What about when I'm poor in my decision making? Those types of things encompass for richer or for poorer.
Or
But when you just go into it with a surface understanding of that, naturally you'll think that's money. So if I don't have nothing, you leaving me. It's more than that, because there are people who are financially where they want to be, but poor in so many different other areas.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the most common thing that we see, just a lack of understanding of what they're getting into, what they're signing up for. Because when problems present themselves, most people say, I didn't sign up for this. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Or you know, on the man side, it's hard for men to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for men to have, you know, understanding and be emotional with their spouse, because we're not taught that. You know, we're not taught that at all. But in actuality, that is us. We should be that, you know, because as I was speaking to a young man today, you know, when God made man, he made man and said, take care of the garden, take care of everything. And then he said, you know what? Man is lonely. I'm going to make him a helpmeet. But man didn't know he was lonely. He didn't know at all. You know, but when God made him a helpmeet, you know, that's when everything came together, you know, and when the enemy came, he separated that. So men don't really understand what it is to lead, what it is to be vulnerable, what it is to take care of a wife, what it is to take care of the marriage. It's our responsibility as men, because we're the leaders. God made us the head. And then he made woman to come to be the helpmeet, to help us, you know, to help us be greater, to help us do things better, you know, but it's for a man to pull out the greatness in the woman.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So now, and as the woman, how do you help without necessarily, I don't want to say overstep your boundaries in a way, but without trying to take over and to still allow him to lead?
So that comes with the understanding of knowing the importance of never emasculating your husband, right? That also comes with the understanding of communicating, right? That also comes with the grace and the wisdom of being observant and watching. And even when I may see there's an area he's falling short in, rather than beating him up about it, we have a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I find a way to help him, to cover him, to intervene without making him feel like I'm taking away his authority or his role in that area. Because I'm not one of those women who feel like I don't need my man, or you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of independent women take on that role.
Right.
So, you know, it's about just being attentive, remaining a student, and then as with any great teacher, you find a way to give help or be of assistance without making a person feel like they're incompetent.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
And so how do you, as the man, how do you respond to that? So she's doing with her part, you know, to not emasculate you, right? So what's your response?
Well, honestly, I'll say this. In all that we have been through, everything that she said is very true. She has never put me in a situation where I felt indifferent. She's never put me in a situation where I felt disrespected. She's never put me in a situation where I felt dishonored. She has always given everything that she was supposed to give as a wife. And my response to her was to become a better man. My response to her was to become better. And how do I get better? I got to go to my father. I got to ask him, how do I be better? How do I get better? You know, so now what I have to do is I have to go before him. I have to go and find, well, not find, but I have to, because honestly, we need a earthly person to talk to. So I have to find somebody that's going to give me that's going to give me wisdom in this marriage thing. You know, give me wisdom on how to be a man. You know, and when he does that, take that in consideration and walk that.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times we look to the world to give us all the information.
Mhm.
You know, we look to the
We
world,
do.
and then when you look to the
Absolutely,
world,
yeah.
you're like, man, I shouldn't
That
have
ain't
done
it.
that.
Right.
That ain't it. That ain't it. So, you know, I have to find somebody that's giving me the truth.
Yeah.
You know, so now how do I find the truth though? You know,
Right.
you got to go to the word. You got to be in the word, you know, to understand wisdom. No, I'm not taking that.
Yeah.
Because that's not right. You know, but honestly, you know, I wasn't always like this. You know, I wasn't always like this. But me asking God to help me become a better man, a better father, a better lover, a better husband, on all these things, he's helped me. See, we think that God won't help us, but he will.
Yeah.
He will when you ask him. He's going to help you. You may not like how he helps you,
That
but
hurt.
he's going to help you.
Yeah.
You know, and he's helped me. He has truly helped me, and I've become a better man. And I'm trying to help my son and the sons that I'm fathering become better men, because that's my job.
Absolutely.
That's my job as a man and as a father to the fatherless.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, there's some young men that I'm gonna have to father.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that I'm doing okay. I hope I'm doing okay. You know, so
you're doing your part.
yeah, I'm doing my part. I'm trying.
I got that. So what do you say? 'Cause I think a lot of people get into, especially my age. I'm 28.
Okay.
And I feel like we are getting married in the sense of the wedding. The show of the wedding, the glamour of the wedding. And not realize, oh, this is a whole marriage that I have. Would you agree that that's something that you kind of see, especially for your newlyweds? Like,
Absolutely.
it was more so about the wedding than the actual marriage.
Yes.
Why? Like, why is
because
that a thing?
they get caught up into the presentation of it all.
Yeah.
The beautiful dress, the honeymoon, the ambiance, and all these people. When, you know, your average woman wants her dream wedding.
Yeah.
Right? But when you go into that, you soon realize that is just for show.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the marriage. The marriage begins when all of the decor is gone, all of the people is gone, and it's just you and that person, right? And people, I don't think that they realize you make vows before the people, but you don't vow to the people. You vow to that person. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to learn the difference between sacredness and being secret, because people will feel like, you know, y'all just private and y'all just, no, it's about being sacred. Just because we're close don't mean that you are obligated to be privy to what's going on.
Right.
Because if I don't keep this sacred, then I expose him or he exposes me. And it's no different than having a wound. If it's exposed, what happens? It becomes infected. You get sick. You can possibly die. Same thing. It's in the natural, you apply it to the spiritual. So when you see a lot of people who go into it for the show, it's just like anything else. You can only fake it for so long. So when people say fake it till you make it, it's cute, but faithing it is different than faking it. Because when you fake it, you can only fake for so long. And then when the rubber meets the road, that's when you get in trouble.
Crash and burn, huh?
So yeah,
it's different, because when you think about back in the day when people got married, they got married for a different reason. You know, but they didn't get married and walk together. Back in the day, they got married. The woman's supposed to do this, and then be quiet. And the man can do this. You know, and now the roles have almost switched. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, it hasn't been about relationship. It hasn't been about togetherness. It hasn't been about the covenant. Even back in the day, it wasn't about the covenant. It was about, you do as I say. I'm the man. I'm the head.
Right.
You know, I'm the boss. But really, me and my wife talk about this all the time, because she'd be like, "You're not the boss of me," and I used to be like, "Yes, I am." Until I really thought about it, and you know, I read some things, and I was like, "You know what? I'm not the boss of you. I'm your leader. and there's a big difference.
Between leadership and lordship.
Absolutely.
Big difference.
So, we got to learn how to lead and how to become as one and walk together, because that's what it's all about.
Yep.
It's what it's all about.
Yeah. Now, see, I'm guilty in the communication thing because, I just get so upset. But I realize when we're talking at each other,
Yeah.
and I realize that a lot of times we're saying the same thing, but you don't hear it because I'm not listening,
Right.
and I don't hear what you're like. After everything's done calmed down, I'm like, well, I said that. That's been my whole argument. So what are we arguing for? We're saying the same thing. It's just different how we're saying it. So I'm trying to do better at my listening instead of being so quick to listen to respond and to react, to actually listen to understand. I'm trying. If I gotta call y'all, I'm gonna call y'all.
Call us. Please call us. 'Cause you know what? It's something you'll never master.
Yeah.
But you can always get a great handle.
Absolutely.
Because when you realize that your emotion is secondary, it forces you to go back to square one. Well, what made me feel this way?
Yeah.
And then we could talk about it. Because when you understand that no matter how valid your emotion may be, your response to that can't be justified if you don't do it the right way.
Absolutely. That's very true.
So even though you
very
hurt, it's not okay to respond erratically. You can't justify that, because if you flip it, is it okay
For that.
Yeah. So if you and we don't always think like that, right? In a perfect world, we would think like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the more you understand it, the easier it becomes to apply it.
Gotcha.
So you'll fall short a lot less, but you're gonna always fall short, because that's why we need Jesus, right?
Yes, ma'am. All right, Miss Kimberly. Y'all dropped some gems with us today. I'm so happy to have y'all here on Total Praise Radio. Before I let you all go, can you let our listeners know how they can book your services and how they can follow you on your social media?
Yes.
She
So
gonna do that. She good at it.
So our website is eternalcovenantmm.com. You can email us at eternalcovenantmm@gmail.com. We are Eternal Covenant on all of our platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, we are Them Crittendens, and on YouTube, we are Eternal Covenant with Them Crittendens. We also have Apple and Spotify on podcast, so we do have a podcast as well. And so you can find us. Yes, you can find us on all of those platforms. We are available. We do individual, couples, and group coaching. So
that's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you
so
much.
Thank you once again for being a guest on our show
today.
Until next time, everybody. I am your host, Miss Kayla, and we are signing out. Peace.
Yes, I love it. Okay. What's today?
Saturday. So I'm going to schedule for this to air next Friday.
Okay.
To give you guys a week to promote it.
Okay.
Did you send me a picture by any chance?